We're drawing from our reading for this week, Thriving in Your New School Counseling Role. Moving into a new role as a school counselor can feel overwhelming, but it's also a time filled with opportunities for growth and impact. So I'm going to focus on three core areas that are crucial to your success: building rapport, understanding community through data, and managing your time. The Fresh Prince of Bel Air said, "Our words got flipped and turned upside down, and that's particularly relevant. Just like we had to adapt during the pandemic, starting in a new role requires flexibility, resilience, and a proactive approach to creating a positive impact." So, as James Comer rightly pointed out, relationships are at the heart of all learning, but this includes not just students, but everyone you work with. So, you want to think about engaging with stakeholders. Start with students by being visible and approachable. And for families, regular and clear communication builds trust. Teachers and administrators are your key collaborators. Make sure they know you're there to support them. And don't forget about other staff like secretaries, custodians, and even IT specialists. They're often the gatekeepers to essential resources. Simple actions like asking genuine questions, volunteering for school events, or even bringing a small treat to the teacher's lounge can significantly strengthen these connections. People appreciate when you show interest in their world and offer support. I think a lot of people who go into school counseling get nervous when they hear the word data, but I want you to understand that data is not just numbers, it's the story of your students and school community. And by analyzing data, you can understand where your students excel and where they struggle, allowing you to tailor your counseling program to meet their needs. You want to start with things like the school's improvement plan, if that exists, and report cards to grasp the big picture. Attendance records, grade distributions, and discipline data will help you pinpoint specific issues like absenteeism or behavioral challenges. And don't overlook graduation rates and post secondary metrics if you're in a high school, as these are key indicators of how well the school is preparing students for the future. You want to use tools like the Ask the National Model School Data Summary to organize and make sense of the data, but don't stop at the numbers. Complement this with qualitative data gathered through interviews or focus groups, and this will give you a more nuanced understanding of the community's needs. Of course, this is not something you can do immediately, but it's something to have your eye on and to think about how you can integrate that. You want to engage with a principal early on or even an assistant principal if you can't access the at that level of administration. They can provide you with the key data you need and help you understand its context, and this will allow you to set informed priorities for your counseling programs. Also, you know the chain of command at your school better than anyone. So if it's a director of guidance or your supervisor, you need to go through first, and of course, do so. Transitioning into this new role often comes with a steep learning curve, and it's easy to feel overwhelmed. So time management is critical, not just for your success, but also for your well-being. You want to define your working hours early on and stick to them. This will help prevent you from burning out and will help you maintain a healthy work-life balance. Remember, your role as a school counseling intern is important, but so is your personal time. Utilize tools like Do Not Disturb on your phone to avoid unnecessary distractions during off hours, and time blocking on your calendar can also help you manage your tasks more efficiently by dedicating specific time slots to different responsibilities. A 90-day entry plan is a great tool to structure your first few months. This plan should include meetings with key stakeholders, reviewing data, and setting initial goals, and align this with the school's annual calendar to ensure your efforts are in sync with the school's activities. To perform well in your internship role, you need to take care of yourself, so things like nutrition, exercise, and sleep are essential. Make sure you're feeding parts of your identity that go beyond your role as an educator. You want to establish a relationship with a professional counselor or supervisor early on, whatever again that structure is in your environment. This support system can be invaluable during tough times, helping you navigate challenges before they escalate. So as we wrap up, let's recap the three critical steps we discussed. Building rapport with stakeholders, understanding your community through data, and managing your time effectively. Starting a new role is never easy, but it's also a time filled with potential. Every small step you take to connect with others, understand your environment, and manage your workload will help set the stage for your success. Remember, the impact you will have on your students and school community is significant, and embrace the challenges and opportunities with confidence and compassion. In the words of Brene Brown's words on in the words of Brene Brown speaking on vulnerability, acknowledge that this is a time of vulnerability, but it's also where your greatest growth will happen. So a lot of what I just synopsized, if that is that a word, had to do with becoming a new school counselor. So let's break down a little bit more specifically how this could work as a school counseling intern. So in terms of introducing yourself to key stakeholders, an example would be creating a brief, friendly introductory email or flyer that outlines who you are and your role as a counseling intern and how you plan to support the school community. And this could include a photo and a few fun facts about yourself to make the introduction more personal. You could distribute this flyer to teachers, administrators, and staff, and this can help break the ice and establish initial connections. Again, know your audience, know your school context to see if something like this would work there. In terms of engaging with students, you could set up a short meet and greet session during lunch periods where students can stop by, grab a snack, and chat informally. And this can create an opportunity for students to become familiar with you and more comfortable approaching you for support. In terms of volunteering for school events, you could volunteer to help organize or support school events like back to school night or parent teacher conferences or even a school dance if that's a thing. This will help you meet more staff and students and also demonstrate your commitment to being an active part of the school community. In terms of understanding the school community through data as a school counseling intern, I would start with working with the school counselor or whoever the administrative designee is to access attendance and discipline records because you could use this to identify patterns such as a particular grade with higher absenteeism or frequent office referrals and suggest targeted interventions or support groups to address these issues. In terms of informal surveys or focus group, you could create a simple survey for students asking about, um, questions like stress or belonging, and then analyze those results and present your findings to your supervising counselor, offering suggestions for initiatives that could improve student well-being. Um, in terms of creating a weekly schedule, I think this is more or less easier for everyone here, but you can, creating a detailed weekly schedule that blocks out time for different activities like one-to-one counseling, group work, administrative tasks, and self-care. For instance, you might reserve Monday mornings for planning and Wednesday afternoons for student check-ins. See how that feels right for you in terms of segmenting things. In terms of the 90-day plan, even as interns, you can create a scaled down version of a 90-day plan, and this could include goals such as a meet with all teachers by the end of the first month, or assist with at least three classroom guidance lessons, and organize a small student group by the end of the third month. Again, know your audience, know your school context. Learning to delegate. So, even as an intern, you should recognize when you need to delegate tasks to others or ask for help. So, for instance, if you're working on a school-wide initiative, you might ask other interns or even teachers to help gather supplies or set up for an event. I would be really, again, cautious to know your school audience for this, but learning to delegate in general will help you manage your workload effectively. Um, I think it's a little tricky as an intern, but certainly working with other interns would be an easy first step. In terms of prioritizing self-care, you could set specific times during the week for self-care activities like a short walk after lunch or a mindfulness session before the day starts. And this might help establish a routine of reflecting on your experiences each day to manage stress and stay grounded.